Alright everyone, welcome back. So I made this video in, I think it was like late March last year in 2023, talking about NHL expansion. Well, since we got a whole week off here between the conference finals and the Stanley Cup finals, I'm going to talk about this here a little bit. So, expansion. It's been a topic that has been talked about for years. I've talked about it many times on the channel before, but it's really going to start picking up now. I think this summer we could hear a lot of things about new cities coming in and a lot of talks with expansion. And we've already heard that a lot this season. Obviously with Atlanta, Salt Lake City wanted interest, but obviously things changed. We'll get into that in a second. But there are many cities that are interested in bringing an NHL team there. So the biggest thing that I said in my video last year, which I'll put it in a card if I remember to, the biggest thing that I said that was holding the NHL back from doing this, from expanding from over 32 teams, is the Arizona Coyotes. Playing in Mullet Arena was not a good look for the NHL, above all. And, you know, that was the thing that was stopping. They wanted to have 32 stable franchises before they would say, oh yeah, let's go expand to Atlanta and start moving out of that uncharted territory. Because I said this in my video last year, they're going into uncharted territory here when you look in terms of expansion. I looked at the other leagues. The MLB, 30 teams. The NFL, I think 32. The NBA, I think 30. And then even I looked at like Premier League. They don't even have anywhere near the amount that the NHL has. So they're heading into uncharted territory here. They will be the first team in pro sports, I believe, unless there's another league that has like 40 teams or something like that. They'll be the first pro sports league to expand past that 32 team mark. And it's uncharted territory. It is. Now, again, the biggest thing that was preventing them from doing this is the Arizona Coyotes. And they're relocated to Utah. So that's the benefit there. They got a stable franchise in Utah, which said they will be building a new arena, which we'll get into in a little bit here. That's a whole nother discussion. But that won't be for a little bit. And I think that's fine. I think they're fine with using Delta Center temporarily. But it does give the wonder of, is expansion going to happen between then and now? Now, we do know that if Morello wins the land bid, which is in a few weeks, it's not that long from now. I think it's around June 27th. I'm probably wrong. We'll see. But if he wins that option, if he wins that auction, the Coyotes will be returning within the next 5 years. That means that you will see a guaranteed expansion, whether it's 2027 or 2028, 29. We'll see. So, it's something you got to keep in mind there. We could be guaranteed expansion by the end of this month, for sure. If the Coyotes do win that land bid and they're building a new arena, then they will 100% be putting another team there in Arizona. Because I don't think the NHL wants to give up there. Even if Morello doesn't win it and they get under some other owner, I think they will go back to Arizona. I think they know that it can work. I know that it can work, and it showed when the team relocated that, you know, this city, like, it wasn't because of, you know, the arena or the fans, it was the owner. That was the biggest thing that I saw was to blame. So, the other question that I've seen be popped up with the Coyotes is divisions. How would the divisions work? Because if you bring Arizona back, not even getting into the other cities, if you bring Arizona back, that puts you at 33 teams, a very uneven division, or very uneven divisions, very uneven conferences, actually. Now, here's my suggestion to this, and I think this could very well happen. They get rid of divisions and just keep conferences. That's possible. Now, could we see a change to the playoff format? That's a whole other discussion for another time. But what I think is probably going to happen if they go to, let's say, Arizona and Atlanta, like those are the two that are most likely right now. If they were to go to those two places, I think they would just abolish divisions. I think they would. And here's the other thing. I don't think the Coyotes come in unless someone else is with them. I think that if Arizona does get that bid and they get a team within the next 5 years, I think someone else is going to come in with them, and I think it's going to be someone from the Eastern Conference. Probably Atlanta, because there's been talks of Atlanta for a long time. Anson Carter, there's like 3 groups that are involved. One of them involves Anson Carter. There's a lot of support to bring a team there, and I think that under new ownership, it could work. It could. And I mean, I do want to make a video soon talking about the Thrashers and the Flames and what really went down there and why it just never worked. Now, Am I on that boat that, like, you shouldn't go to Atlanta? Yes, that's a whole other discussion for another time. But I think that there's definitely a chance that if the Coyotes come in, someone else from the Eastern Conference will come in as well. So, again, divisions probably abolished. That'll probably be what happens. Now, in terms of getting into, like, cities that could come, I mean, essentially, I feel like 32 is a good number, and they're keeping it like that for a while. But obviously, they're giving Arizona the opportunity to return. Now, how do I word this? I don't really know how many cities would come in, necessarily. There could be, like, 30, 34, 36, 40. Like, I've seen 40 be in talks. I don't think you can do 40. I think you could 100% do 34. I think 34 is not out of the question. Maybe 36, but you got to think, too, like, is there enough talent to really fill a whole 34, 36 team NHL? That's one of the questions that I have, too. Can the NHL sustain that many teams? Now, they definitely can. There's plenty of teams in the American Hockey League that would come up, and, like, obviously, you could just, you know, like, plop an American Hockey League roster under one of the NHL rosters. But the problem with that is it's the talent. Is there a lack of talent? Like, are you dragging out the talent too much overall? Now, you could have, like, you know, like 32 really good teams and then 4 really bad teams. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Like, you might not have enough talent to really spread it across the entire NHL. Now, there's a lot of there's a lot of players out there who, if they were given the opportunity to play in the NHL, I think they would do way better. Like, there are guys in the American Hockey League that could never crack the NHL, who, if you expand the NHL to 34, 36 teams, they would definitely get a shot, and they would definitely be a regular NHLer at that level. But to be honest, there's that question that I've been asking myself over the last couple of weeks when I've been thinking about this video. So, the best options for an expansion. Now, I got them tier ranked here. Best options, good options, meh, and probably not. So, we'll start off with the best option here. I got Atlanta as the best option, and I also have St. Paul, Minnesota. So, those are my 2 best options that I would look at. Now, Arizona, I'm not factoring that into this. I would probably put it in good option if I had to. But I think St. Paul could stomach another hockey team. I think there are definitely fans out there. You could definitely have enough fans for a second hockey team in the state of hockey. I think it makes a lot of sense. You don't see that too often because obviously a lot of people there are Wild fans, but I think you definitely could put it in a second team there, and there will be people that would say, oh, yeah, I'm rooting for that team for sure. Now, the question of that is, like, oh, could you fill an arena with home fans and not just let it be away fans? That's something that I've thought about before. Atlanta, I've said already in this video that I think that it's probably one of the better options out there. I think if there's multiple owners that are interested in this and there are a lot of fans there that want a team to come back, I 100% think you could stomach another NHL team there. Now, 3 times in a row they would relocate, if that does happen, not looking too great. So we'll see if that actually does happen, and that's what I'm worried about with Arizona too. Are they just going to relocate it as soon as they get there? It's a worry for me. But regardless, I think that there's that with Atlanta, but I still think they're one of the best options. Now, good options. What are options that I think are good for this for expansion? Houston. Houston's not a great option, but I think it's a good option. Quebec. I think Quebec is... Listen, I would love to see Quebec. I would love to see them come to the NHL, but there's a lot of things there that just don't seem viable to me. Like, I can't... Like, I don't know, like... Are there going to be fans in Quebec that are going to genuinely root for the team? Sure, absolutely. Like, just like with St. Paul and, you know, Houston, there would be fans that would root for them. But the worry is that a lot of them are Canadiens fans. That's something that I definitely think about. And then Hartford. I think Hartford could definitely do another NHL team. The fact that they played in a mall and they were obviously dealing with all that, I think you give them a solid NHL arena and then things could go well. Not necessarily being named the Hartford Whalers. That's a whole other discussion for another time, but Hartford should be in the conversation. Meh options. I have Brampton. Brampton I might put in probably not, because I feel like Brampton could happen, but it doesn't make sense. It's too close to Toronto. That whole vicinity of Toronto is filled with many Leaf fans, and I don't see how you could put a second team that's basically in Toronto and say, oh yeah, there you go. Go root for this team. There's no way fans... Now, there are some fans that would do that, but there's no way the majority of fans are going to drop their fandom of Toronto, of the Maple Leafs, and go root for a team in Brampton. There's no chance that happens. And I can't process that at all. And it's another one of those instances, too, where, you get an arena there, it's probably filled with just Leaf fans every single time. Like, that's something that I don't understand when I look at Brampton. Saskatchewan. I think Saskatchewan is an okay option. I think they definitely could put an NHL team there. I think it's the only one of the main provinces that does not have an NHL team besides like Yukon. Canadians are yelling at me right now. But I think Saskatchewan's an okay option. I don't know if fans would be like, oh yeah, let's go there. There's not a whole lot of attractions there, to be honest. I guess a hockey team would be viable to that, but they have a lot of minor league teams. And then probably not. I would put Cincinnati. Doesn't make sense for Columbus. I think that would just kill Columbus's fandom. And Omaha. Omaha could stomach a minor league hockey team, but no chance they would be able to do a major league team. I can't see a world where you could put an NHL team in Omaha, Nebraska. I just can't see it. I can't see that happening realistically. So those are my cities that I think could happen. Now, comment some cities down below. I may have missed some, so if I did, I apologize. But you can comment some down below. Now, things that are also in mind with the NHL before they expand. Building situations. Now, there are teams that do need new buildings. Now, there are some that are already on it, like the Senators are. They're going to build their new arena probably by the end of the summer. The Flames, well, not like finish building it, but start building it by the end of the summer, get that finalized. The Flames, I think they broke ground, and they're already starting to build, so that's a good thing. And then Utah. Utah won't be for a long time. I don't think for another, like, 2 or 3 years probably, but I think there's a good chance that, the NHL's like, all right, that's fine. Now, one last thing here. Potential relocation. I think there's only one team that I look at right now and say there's some danger, some relative danger, and that's the Winnipeg Jets. They had a lot of attendance issues this year, a lot of season ticket issues. The owner said it's okay now, but it's not good for the long term whatsoever. He is very rich, so I don't think there's a chance they move anytime soon. But if I had to say, like, let's see if they get moved within the next, 10 years, I think they're a pretty good chance. If I were to pick a team that would be relocated, it'd probably be the Winnipeg Jets. I'm not going to lie. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true or we're going to see that happen. I could be making videos 10 years from now, look back at this and be like, man, you were stupid. But regardless, I think I look at all the teams in the NHL, that's probably the team that I would say has the most danger of relocating. So those are some expansion discussion. That's a part of it. There's a lot more I could go into here. But regardless, I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe down below. We greatly appreciate it. But regardless, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.